guys, we up here on the roof, so we're trying to get the roof framed up. Slowly but surely, a little bit at a time. You know, weather been kind of affecting us a little bit. Some days the guys show up and it rains, and some days it don't rain and they don't show up. So we got to get this thing done. But this is what we look like. So we're trying to get everything. We got our dog house. We got our dormers right here. Oh, those are actually shed dormers, by the way. We have got our ridge beam up. One thing you got to make sure of when you're dealing with those ridge beams is you got to make sure, you can see right here, you can make sure that that ridge beam that you see, that's, if I can get my finger in the way. Yeah, there we go. This ridge beam right here, is that beam right there. You got to make sure that beam has enough room for those rafters, these rafters that go up. So you don't want no space up under those rafters. That whole full rafter, which are these right here, should be touching and come in contact with that ridge beam. That's how it works. So hopefully my guy's coming over here. My excavator promised me he'll be over here this, today to knock out my backfill. You guys see that? It's a little fall down there. Plus, you don't want it, these guys, when they try to get up on this next level, they don't want to have to take all these pieces of OSB boards. They don't have to. You don't want them guys to have to take those and put them in place. That becomes a nightmare. So there you have it. Try to make sure all my lumber is in the right place. Kind of got a little organization going on here. All right, you guys have a go. Ready? You got me? All right, guys. I know we got a lot of noise, and I do got to get me a microphone. That's next on the agenda when I have enough time. Seems like now when I shoot videos, there's always something that comes up that make a lot of noise where you can't hear me. But anyway, right now, guys, we got this thing. I'm doing a frame and punch out right now. We got the house wrap going up. It's critical. Let me just show you this right here. If you look at this house wrap, if you kind of see how this house wrap looks, you want it to look really, really tight. You don't want any house wrap flapping in the wind. You want your seams to be taped. You see this little tape we got on here where the seams are? You got that? The seams are. You want a 6 to 8 inch overlap, as you see right here, and then you want it to be in shingle effect. So you want the water to come down and overlap all the way to the bottom when it gets to the flashing for the brick and comes out. But it is critical, guys. I'm gonna tell you, it's critical. Now, it took us a long time to get here due to a lot of different things that's coming our way, but we got to make up the time. But here's the thing: we're not gonna be doing a lot of firefighting things, because we're gonna make sure things are complete to entirety before we move to the next step, if that makes sense. Well, I hope it does make sense. So what I'm making sure is that everything is framed 100% right, as much as I know. I've checked everything. My guys have went through here and already punched out some of it. I still found more things. So we got to get it all the way right before we get our MEPs, which is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, to get in here. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. When those guys come in, let's just say, for instance, let's just come right here. Let's just say, for instance, there's another 2x4 that needs to be put right here. Let's just, for example, you understand what I'm talking about. Let's say there's another 2x4, which is right here, guys. Here's one right here. Let's just say this right here, you see this right here, red spot? This means that there's another stud that needs to go up here all the way to the top. The guys, for some reason, they took it out, but they need to put it back. But let's just say, for instance, if this is not here, and my electrician comes in here and he runs stuff through here, now we gotta figure out a way to get another stud in here now, because it's not done to the entirety. Now we gotta twist this stud, it's not gonna hold, we gotta twist it like this and twist it like that. We gotta cut notch out of it, and it's just more time, and it's more of a headache, and it's worse is a worse product. The product is bad then. So that's why it's critical for me to, if you guys kind of go through here, we'll kind of walk through here, like right here. This right here, there needs to be a wall right there. There needs to be a wall right here. My plumber comes in here and put pipes in here. Now we got to try to frame around that stuff. That's what you don't want to do. And that's why it's critical to make sure everything is good before you go to the next step. As you can see it like up here. And guys, just because you hire framers don't mean that they got it all figured out. As a superintendent or a builder, you got to get in here and make sure that those guys are doing everything correct. That's what your job is. Like, right here. When you look at the plans, that's why I left another set of plans. I left some plans up here for the framer, just in case I'm not here. They framed these doors too high. They framed these, watch your step, man. They framed these for 8-foot opening instead of 6'8" opening. So I had to go through and they did the whole thing up here like that. They should have put some kind of handrail right here. That's why I got it in orange for fall protection. This right here, that should be draft stock. That should be draft stock, fire rated. So we need a whole we need OSB covering this whole area right here. This is like an elevator chute, but it needs to cover this whole thing so that fire can't go from one level to the next level and at least slow that fire down. This right here, now in the city of Trussville, all your knee walls have to be back with OSB, and it needs to go all the way up, guys. And so that's why I put this little arrow right here. So that this needs to go all the way up. This door opening is wrong. And see, if the door openings and everything are wrong, then what's gonna happen is, when you order your doors in, now they gotta undo some stuff. Now your sheetrock guy gotta come back. You don't want all those guys to come back. Right here, here's another draft stop. You gotta have a draft stop right here. We already got one right here on the floor. We need to have one right up here. So the same thing they did for the elevator shaft, they need to do the same thing. By the way, we're not finished the elevator shaft. It needs to be draft stop. It needs to be fire rated. This knee wall right here. And I'm starting to think that, I don't know, all the knee walls here needs to have rigid backing, rigid OSB backing. So we don't have a lot of it, but I made sure we had it right there. Now we gotta have an attic access somewhere, I'm thinking too. So, I just thought about that. So we got an attic access right here, but we gotta have an attic access right here somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Because we gotta be able to access that side and the upstairs at the same time. We get the upstairs from over there. Go ahead.
How would you choose your framing crew?
Oh man, really to be honest with you, man, I mean, we can sit here and I can say that we got to get much better framing crews. But what I'm realizing is that it's hard to find workers today, guys. It's hard to find. And so you got to get what you can get for the most part. That's kind of how I look at it. Framing crews are hard to find. What's happening with the framing crews is they got so much work, they pull bits and pieces of framers from here and throw them over here, and they break up the crews to try to get everything. It's almost like somebody's trying to get more work, but instead of just saying, hey, you know something, I'm gonna finish this one job to entirety, and then I'm gonna go to the next job. They're not thinking like that. What they're doing is they're taking this one star out of the crew. So the way you pick a framing crew, really, you should be able to, if you're a good builder, you should be able to pick any framing crew. And you don't pay them until you get it right. But as the builder and the superintendent, if you're a superintendent, you should be able to look at this stuff and tell how it's supposed to be done. You should be able to look at the bracing, the roof bracing. You should be able to look at all this stuff, everything, the loads, know how the loads are supposed to line up. That's your job as a builder, you see? So, excuse me, man. All this sawdust is coming up that we're cleaning up. And that's another thing, guys. You make sure, what you want to do is you want to make sure you clean up. You got to clean up your houses. Because I saw a lot of this stuff when I was cleaning up. Now, I just figured out I need an attic access right over here somewhere. So I got to add that. And we can access this attic. We can access this attic from over here. So that's okay. So we got to put some over here to access that attic over there. But let's just kind of look at it. You see all the little red lines, man. Look like I just cut my arm and just bled up in here. But I try to clean up everything as much as possible. Good thing about this right here house, all the windows are in. And you can kind of look around here and you can kind of see where I had red marks everywhere. That opening is not the right size. So I'm gonna get my frame out here sometime this week. Well, you'll meet them out here sometime this week because I'll probably be out of town, but you're gonna walk them through all the stuff that's wrong. That needs to be taken care of. We got that. Let's look over here. They gotta figure out a way to get that. And really, I just need to meet the guy who's doing the frame through and have him to come out here. We got a sliding door that needs to be put right there. Usually Framing Crews does that. All the little red marks that you see, they need to be taken care of. Hey man, Tommy? What's up? I ain't seen you in a minute. So we want to go through here. I'm making sure everything, I'm actually shooting the video, Tommy. By the way, this is my guy, man. He does all my installation, and then he does a lot of little amenities and stuff in the house, man. He's been taking care of me for a long time, man. And then he got good prices, you guys. So I'm just going through here, just make sure you see all the red marks. The red marks mean that we have to have, since these walls are 10 feet, you have to have fire blocking right here, so that if fire gets in the cavity of this wall, it has to burn through this right here in order to keep going up. Now, this also helps out too structurally because it makes the walls a little bit more stiffer. So if you notice on all the load-bearing walls, if it's over 10 feet, you're gonna have this fire blocking, okay? Which doesn't happen downstairs because the walls downstairs are not quite 10 feet. They're about 9.5. So you don't really need them, but I put them down there anyway to be consistent with the upstairs. So I went through, guys, I checked every door. I checked all the room sizes and everything and made sure it was consistent with the plan. Might have been off maybe ½ inch in this room, but more in another room, but it worked out really, really well. So you come downstairs. And guys, you want to keep your site clean all the time. I tell you what, I like to keep my sites clean so that I don't have no snakes and stuff hiding up around here somewhere. At least I can see them. They like snakes for some odd reason. They like to come in these basements. Especially when the house is open. They like to come in the basements and get on this concrete because the concrete gives off heat at night. It absorbs heat in the daytime, it gives off at night, so it stays like that in here. So you gotta be careful with that, guys. So I'm looking at everything, make sure all the loads are lining up. My studs were placed, that's something we had done to counteract those. Everything else look good. So this is kind of what, guys, like I said, you want to make sure, I'm looking at the looks like we're missing studs right here. That's okay, that works. The bottom line, I guess I can get in some light here. The bottom line is you want to make sure that when you get your MEPs, guys, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing guys, before those guys walk in your house, and my guys will be here Friday or Monday, okay? My plumber, I always have my plumber to come first, okay? Because the stuff that he does, you don't need a roof on it. You don't need the shingles on it. And because, plumbing stuff can get wet. But before I have my HVAC, my unit set, I want to have that roof on the house. So I got my roofer already lined up to put the roof on here. But get the plumber in, you get your mechanical guy in after your plumber, and then you get your electrician to come in after the HVAC guy. You really want him to come in kind of sort of when the HVAC guy's still here, so they can kind of work with each other to know where the units are going to be, and he needs to know where he needs to run his wire. But it's easier for the electricians to run his stuff around the HVAC and the plumber. Does that make sense? That's kind of where you want to be at. But before any of those guys come in, you want to go through and make sure everything is framed up right. Now, what's going to end up happening is the plumbers mainly, and the electricians are going to come through here and they're going to chop this house up again. Running holes and stuff everywhere. I had to have my framers. That's why, guys, you don't want to give the framers everything. So I got to have my framers to come back out here, and they're going to fix the problems that those guys create. Does that make sense? And then I would call in for a framing inspection. And then once I call in for my framing inspection, I can cover it. I can insulate the walls. That's why I got my installation guy. He's coming in, he's quoting out everything, make sure that we're still consistent. I hope he didn't go out. Everybody's going up so much. I hope he didn't go up again. All right, is there anything else you want to add? All right, man, thanks.